How would you describe your leadership style? Well, I would describe my leadership style as one that does not micromanage. I like my staff to have the freedom to make improvements to the ward. One example: I encourage staff that want to make a change to do research on the topic. Once there is evidence-based practice to support the change, I'll implement it if it doesn't violate hospital policy. What are some of your greatest challenges at work? Probably the greatest challenge at work is trying to keep a balance on the floor. There are a lot of different personalities that have to be combined to make the ward run smoothly. How do you manage the tension between nurses working on the floor needs and administrative requirements/mandates? I manage tension by trying to be fair. If there are tensions between nurses, I encourage my staff to try to settle it on their own. If that doesn't work, I will mediate a meeting to try to come to an understanding. As for mandating, there has been very little mandating in the last few months. The hospital has created a float pool of nurses whose whole job is to fill holes. I try to plan staff vacations so as to leave as few holes as possible. How do you evaluate work performance? Actually, the Virginia already has a rating system for nurses. Every nurse has a job description of what their duties are that they are expected to perform. If someone meets all the criteria, I give them a successful evaluation. Now, if a nurse meets the criteria and goes above and beyond, like serving on a hospital committee or implementing change on the floor, I'd give them an excellent. How do you think the issues of nurse burnout and the nursing shortage can be addressed from your position? For one, I have an open door policy and I encourage my nurses to meet with me if they are having any issues. I want to try to fix an issue before it becomes a major problem. The other way I try to prevent burnout is by proper staffing. I try to have at least 3 licensures on the floor with ICNA. This is a recipe that creates an environment where the most patients a nurse could have are for. Last question. What is your leader development advice for me? My advice to you is to listen to your staff. No one has all the answers or perfect, believe me, I know. More heads are always better than one, so be open to ideas.